Hi everyone. In this session, we are going to look at a few topics in unit number 5, global issues. The outline of this session is going to be based on three topics: multinational corporations, environmental ethics, and computer ethics. First, let us see what is multinational corporations in detail. Before getting into multinational corporations, we should know about what is globalization. So, globalization means integration of countries through commerce, transfer of technology, and exchange of information and culture. In a way, it includes acting together and interacting economies through trade, investment, loan, development schemes, and capital across the countries. In a different sense, these flows include knowledge, science, technology, skills, culture, information, and entertainment, besides direct human resource, telework, and outsourcing. So this interdependence has created the complex tensions and ruptures among the nations. So for the engineers, the issues such as multinational organizations, computer, internet functions, military development, and environmental ethics have assumed greater importance for their very sustenance and progress. Let us look at multinational corporations. Who are multinational corporations? Organizations who have established business in more than one country are called multinational corporation. The headquarters are in the home country and the business is extended in many host countries. Okay, so the Western organizations doing business in less economically developed, that is developing and overpopulated countries, gain the advantage of inexpensive labor, availability of natural resources, conducive tax atmosphere, and a virgin market for the products. So the best example is India is a developing and a overpopulated country, right? So at the same time, the developing countries are also benefited by fresh job opportunities, jobs with higher remuneration and challenges, transfer of technology, and several social benefits by the wealth developed, right? So but this happens invariably with some social and cultural disturbance, loss of jobs for the home country, and loss of or exploitation of natural resources, political instability for the host countries are some of the threats for this globalization, right? So the best example is MNCs is TCS, CTS, Wipro, Infosys. All these are multinational corporations who are your Hyundai, Hyundai Motors, Honda Motors. All these are multinational corporations, right? The next is international human rights. To know what are the moral responsibilities and obligations of the multinational corporations operating in the host countries, let us discuss with the framework of right ethics. So what is the right ethics that has to be followed? Common minimal rights are to be followed to smoothen the transactions when the engineers and employers of MNCs have to interact at social, official, economic, and sometimes at political levels, right? So the top 10 or the 10 international rights to be taken care of is or right of freedom of physical movement of people, right of ownership of properties, freedom for torture from torture, right to fair trial on the products, freedom from discrimination on the basis of race or sex. If such discrimination against women or minorities is prevalent in the host country, the MNC will be compelled to accept. So MNCs may opt to quit that country if the human rights violations are severe, Okay, so physical security, use of safety gadgets have to be supplied to the workers even if the laws of the host country do not suggest such measures. Okay, so freedom of speech and forming association, right to have a minimum education, right to political participation, right to live and exist, that is coexistence, the individual liberty and sanctity of the human life are to be respected by all societies. So these are the top 10 international rights to be taken care of. Right. So what are we actually talking about? Technology transfer. What is happening because of this multinational corporations? It is a process of moving technology to a new setting and implementing it there. Okay. So technology includes hardware. That hardware includes machines and installations, and the techniques, that is technical, organizational and managerial skills and procedures. So it may mean moving the technology applications from laboratory to the field or factory, or from one country to another, right? So this transfer is effected by government, organizations, universities and MNCs. Then comes our appropriate technology. So identification, transfer and implementation of most suitable technology for a set of new situations is called as appropriate technology. So depending upon the availability of resources, physical conditions such as temperature, humidity, salinity, geographical location, isolated land area and availability of water, and capital opportunity costs, human value system, that is social acceptability, which includes their traditions, beliefs and religion, the appropriateness has to be determined. How appropriate is appropriate technology? A case against the technology transfer is that the impact of borrowed or transferred technology has been threatening the environment beyond its capacity and sustainable development of the host countries. So large plantations that orient their efforts to exports leave the small farmers out of jobs and at the mercy of the foreign country. So for example, genetically modified cotton have shown sufficient disturbance in Europe and Africa. This has made the European Union to oppose the entry of GM cotton into, that is genetically modified cotton, into Europe, right? So the high technology has contributed to large scale migration from villages to the cities where corporations are located, leading to the undesirable side effects of overcrowding of cities, such as scarcity of water, insanitation, poverty and the increase in crimes, right? So the term appropriate should emphasize the social acceptability and environmental protection of the host countries, and this need to be addressed while transferring technology. So thus we confirm the view that engineering is a continual social experimentation with nature. Agreed, right? So coming to what are MNCs and morality. The economic and environmental conditions of the home and host countries may vary. Okay, but the multinational institutions have to adopt appropriate measures not to disturb or dislocate the social and living conditions, culture of the home countries. A few principles are listed here. MNC should respect the basic human rights of the people of the host countries. Okay, so that's a valid point. Then the activities of MNC should give economic and transfer technical benefits and implement welfare measures of the workers of the host countries, right? Then the business practices of the multinational organizations should improve and promote morally justified institutions in the host countries. So the multinationals must respect the laws and political setup besides the culture and promote the cultures of the host countries. Multinational organizations should provide a fair remuneration to the employees of the host countries. If the remuneration is high as that of home country, this may create tensions, and if it is too low, it will lead to exploitation. So multinational institutions should provide necessary safety for the workers when they are engaged in hazardous activities, and informed consent should be obtained from them. Adequate compensation should be paid to them for the additional risks taken. So these are the MNCs and the morality that has to be followed. So we know very well about the Bhopal gas tragedy incident. So Bhopal gas tragedy is considered the worst industrial disaster in the Indian industry, right? The leak of methyl isocyanate gas from the Union Carbide India Limited, that is UCIL plant at Bhopal, caused an immense damage. Hope we will not forget that. It led to the loss of several lives and long-term health effects to thousands of people. Thousands of children died and many others were disabled after the accident. So this led to a death of more than 6,000 people and around the plant and injured more than 7,000 people. Approximately 2 lakh people have adverse health effects, right? So this tragedy happened on the midnight of 3rd December 1984. UCIL was established in the year 1969 to produce a pesticide called 7-using methyl isocyanate as an intermediate. So this methyl isocyanate production plant came into existence in the plant premises in the year 1979. Right. So during the night of 3rd or 4th December 1984, water entered the tank containing 42 tons of methyl isocyanate. This led to an exothermic reaction causing the temperature rise to about 200 degrees Celsius and also increased the pressure. So this high pressure caused the release of toxic gases into the atmosphere. Many people died after inhaling the deadly gas. People initially complained of eye irritation, vomiting, throat congestion and suffocation. So more than 1.5 lakh people were treated at hospitals and temporary dispensaries. So all these are the things that happened during the Bhopal gas tragedy. So what is the ethical balance that we should provide as an organization, right? So should an organization adopt the rules and practices of the host country fully and face dangers and other serious consequences, or adopt strictly their own country standards and practices in the host country? So this is actually a very important question, right? So there is a saying, when in Rome, do as Romans do. Can this be applied in the case of MNCs? This is called ethical relativism. The actions of corporation and individuals that are accepted by law, custom and other values of a society can be morally right in that society. It is morally false, it is illogical. It means the corporation and the engineers functioning in other countries must understand their law, customs and beliefs and act in line with those prevailing in that country. So this will lead to disaster if the country is a developing one where the safety standards are given a go by, right? Laws and conventions are not morally self-sustaining. So in an overpopulated country, the loss of human lives may not physically affect them, but the tragedy cast a shadow for over decades, as it happened in Bhopal in 1984. This will be criticized from the points of view of human rights, public welfare and respect to people. On the other hand, the organizations may practice laws of the home country without adjustments to the host culture, right? So this stand is called ethical absolutism. This is again false, since the moral principles in a different culture come into conflicts and implementation in the hostile culture is almost impossible. Hence, multinational corporations may adopt ethical relationalism, contextualism as a compromise. So moral judgments are made in relation to the factors prevailing locally without framing rigid rules. The judgment should be contextual and in line with the customs of other cultures. The ethical pluralism, which views more than one justifiable moral solution, is also adaptable. This principle accepts cultural diversity and respects the legitimate cultural differences among the individuals and groups of the host country. So thank you for listening this session. Right.